In this video we're going to be looking at how we can build branching in our MS form or our quiz. We need to understand what branching is and why we would use it. So branching gives us the opportunity to create a quiz which isn't linear, i.e. which isn't first question, second question, third question, fourth question in that kind of structured manner. It allows the student to take a different route through the quiz, and that is dependent upon the response that the student gives to a particular question. So for example, if they choose the correct response, we might set up the quiz so that they go to a particular question having got the first question correct. If they've got the first question incorrect, we might take them to another question. So now that we understand what branching is, let's have a look at how we build out a quiz using branching. For this example, I've already built out some questions and I want to show you what that looks like first before we actually build in the branching. So you can see here that I've created a section, called it physical education, and I've given the students a choice. So answer all the questions in the quiz. You can choose the order you answer the questions. So I think one of the great things about using branching is that it allows for some sort of autonomy for the learner to choose where they want to go first and how they want to go about doing the quiz. So let's see how this works through. I've built out my first section there, and then I've got a second section which is on the cardiovascular system, and I've built in 4 questions, as you can see. And then at the bottom there, I've got choose the topic you haven't been quizzed on yet, or click finish if you've completed all of the topics. Now that will become clear as to why I've done that as well in a moment. I've then built another section which is the respiratory system, and I basically copied the questions down, but obviously these are relevant or pertain to the respiratory system now. And the same thing at the bottom, choose a topic that you haven't studied, or if you've done them all, click finish. And similarly the same thing with the muscular system, there are 4 questions and then that option to choose another one or finish if they've studied the other 2 already. So now I've built that out, but there's no branching, there's no interactivity, there's no connectivity at all. So let's have a look at what this looks like in preview. So we go to preview. I've got the choice here, choose which topic you'd like to go to first. Let's choose the muscular system and let's click next and see what happens. So I've chosen muscular system, next, but it takes me straight to the cardiovascular system. And so if I go down there and now I choose, I'll choose muscular system again and then click next, but it takes me straight to the respiratory system and so on. Okay, and in fact it doesn't even matter what I choose here. If I click next, it takes me to the muscular system. So you can see there's no branching, there's no connectivity at all at this point. So how do we build that in? So what we need to do, once we've created our template, I refer to this as our template, or our bare bones if you like of the quiz, we've now got to put in that interactivity. So let's select this first question. So the question is, as you can see, it's a choice question with 3 choices, but I haven't got any points put in. I will save the points for the particular questions on the topic. So this one is just choosing where they're going to go, so therefore no points here. And also no correct answer either. Okay, so how do I get the branching? I go down to the spots on the three spots on the right hand side here. I click on that and go to add branching. Now by default, against each option there is the opportunity or the option to go to, and we can choose where we want the student to go to. So if they click respiratory system, it will mean that they will go to, now so we go onto the down arrow here and we can see that by default you always have next, which is the next question, or end of form. Now that will be useful a little bit later on in this explanation, but just for now let's have a look at other things as well. So I've already built these out, so you must build out your whole quiz, otherwise you won't have these options available to see. So if my student hits respiratory system, I want them to go to the respiratory system section 3, so I select that. If my student chooses cardiovascular system, I want them to go to the cardiovascular system, and if my student chooses muscular system, I want them to go to the muscular system. Okay, so now let's just go back and check that and make sure that works. It's always a good idea to keep going back to the preview just to make sure that things work properly. So respiratory system, next, bang, it's taken me straight to the respiratory system, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's just check that again. I've gone up to preview each time. Muscular system, next, it's taken me to the muscular system. So I'm pretty confident that that's working now. Let's just check cardiovascular system. There we go. So that's fantastic. Now that bit has worked perfectly. So now the students will be taken to whichever topic they have chosen. They will answer the questions. Now here we must remember to put in a correct answer. And again, remember, we just do that by clicking the arrow there and giving it a point. Don't forget to add the points systems as we go through. Okay, I won't do it for each one of them, but just a reminder to yourself that that's what needs to be done. Now at the bottom here, choose the topic you haven't been quizzed on yet, or click finish if you've completed this. Now we don't know which one they're going to go to first, so they could go to any of the three, so we have to have these options already there. So they've done the cardiovascular system. If they want to go to respiratory system, we've got to get them a link there to each of those. So again, we're going to click on this box here, we're going to go to the spots, go to branching, and then respiratory system, go to, and we've got a lot of options now, haven't we, because we've got the questions built in, but we want to go to the respiratory system, so we're going to click that. Muscular system, go to the muscular system, and finish, go to end of form. Okay, now that's really important because it could be that the cardiovascular system is their third choice and they've already done the respiratory system, they've already done the muscular system, and they've got nowhere else to go. So that's when they would click finish. So we'll go to end form there. Okay, and then let's see what happens when we do this one. So go to preview, cardiovascular system, next, check these. Okay, and then I come down here, and I'm going to go to muscular system, next, muscular system. Great. Okay, so and I would do the same thing. So we can see how we build this out, and it's just a question. The key thing here is planning, but also making sure that you've built out all of the different questions that you want to make the links to, the branches to, so that you can make those links when you do this bit. Otherwise it becomes really difficult, in fact impossible to do it. So I'm just going to build out the rest of the links with the quiz, complete the branching activities, and then we'll have a look at what it looks like in preview before we then push it out to our students. I've built out the quiz now in its entirety, so I just want to show you what that's looked like. So I've made a few adjustments. I have, if I go into this cardiovascular system, I've made the correct response for each of them. Again, we talked about that, didn't we? Make sure you've got the correct answer and the points value for each of those. And then just at the bottom, just to make it absolutely clear to the students, I've put this little sentence in here: you've completed the cardiovascular system. So we're telling them they've completed this particular system or this section, and then they've got the choice to make of those two, just so they don't get confused. I thought that would be quite useful in terms of indication of how they proceed. And I've done the same thing as well. So I've built it all through. I've put in all of the branching. So let's go back up to preview and see what that looks like. So I'm going to choose cardiovascular system first, click next, and then I'm just going to randomly, in cardiovascular system, I'm going to randomly choose my answers. You've completed the cardiovascular system, great. So what's my next one? I'm going to go to the muscular system. Next, I'm in the muscular system again, random responses, and you've completed the muscular system, great. So that's really useful for me to know. So I've got to go to the respiratory system now, click on that, and then I will do the same thing, random answers, and I know now that I've finished. So click on finish, submit, and that's it. I've given them the opportunity to choose which topic they want to do and have that autonomy, which I think is really important. What's great about this is when we go to view results for the students, they can see what they've done. Okay, well, obviously that was just a random up there, but the results are given in the order in which the student took the questions. So we went to the cardiovascular system first, if you remember. It gives me my feedback we've looked at before about how I've performed. Then I went to the muscular system, and then I went to the respiratory system last. So it's useful that the results are presented in the order in which the students took the quiz. And there we have it. That's how we build out branching with MS Forms. I think it's a really useful option and something well worth considering, and you will see in this section there are other ways in which we can use branching to support our students' learning.